Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's Crush It in Sales podcast. And thank you in advance for joining me. My name is Melinda Van Fleet. I'm a sales, strategy, and success coach. This week, I want to talk about next level fundamental tips. So I'm not sure if you caught my podcast last week, episode 132, which was titled Success Fundamentals Time Management. So if you didn't catch that podcast, definitely go back and listen to that podcast because this week is a layer. It's a layer. And my biggest tip that I'm going to share with you in this podcast, and it's really all about this tip, is having awareness around this layer. So as I've been working on a referral and connection base with Southwestern Coaching and Consulting, I am consistently finding that most people, after you start to talk with them, have a conversation, they're going, oh yeah, I struggle with that too. Because what happens is our ego immediately goes, I don't need any help. I don't need help with that. And then you start to dig and let someone sit with it and they go, oh yeah, I need that too. So the story I want to share is based on that aha moment, right? And like I said, these two podcasts go together. So this is just like another layer, another story. So I decided to make it a separate podcast. And it's a conversation I was having with my dad. Now, my dad is in his early 70s and he's retired. And he retired a couple years ago. And if you're a Gen X like me, you might have grown up in this type of household where your parents didn't have coaches, didn't understand the coaching industry. It wasn't a thing. Yes, there were coaches back then, but it just wasn't a thing, likely because of social media. So my dad was very much like, if you don't do your job, you get fired, right? And we grew up, if you didn't do this, you got in trouble. And that's just how it was in our household. So when I was talking to my dad about referrals and connections in Southwestern, he was like, yeah, I don't know anyone, and I know he's supportive of me. It's not that he's not. Like, I just want to say that for the record. But he just doesn't understand what it's like to have a coach or really what I do. So I brought up someone that we know that obviously I can connect with, and this person's a business owner. And my dad says to me, oh, he has plenty of business. He has lots of business. He doesn't need any help. He has lots of business. Now, first of all, I wasn't connecting with that person to get their business. If it happens, that's fantastic. But this is a connection process. And so that's not my intention at this moment and what I was trying to achieve. So the fact that he went down this path right away was very typical of what a lot of people do. So I had to back it up and I said, you know what? No, it's about connecting. But as you say that, I want you to think about something that is very common with lots of people. So yes, that person's business is doing really great right now, which is super exciting. However, when you have really great business, that doesn't mean that your life is all 100% and in order, because often you're then stressed out, overwhelmed. You could have anxiety, and that then does a whole other thing to your life, right? You might be eating poorly. You might not be sleeping well or sleeping enough. You might not be in the best shape because you've eliminated workouts out of your schedule just to get one more hour of work in. You might be stressed out with the pressures that are coming from so much business, right? Especially if it's inventory related or it requires some type of labor. That brings on a whole other set of challenges. So when you have a coach, it's often a holistic experience because yes, maybe you don't need sales help at this moment because you have so much business, but you might need help with time management and just to feel better. Or even understand, like, what's your long-term vision? Because often when someone's sales is booming, it could be just a a stroke of luck or timing with what's going on with the economy or politics. Not always is it because, oh my gosh, I worked so hard with my sales team and my sales team is 100% perfect. They close every deal and they're grinding it out. Like, that's not always the case. It may be the case, but it's not always the case. Sometimes it's just timing and good luck, and that's okay too. I'm not shaming that. That's fantastic. I'll take that. But sometimes it's not that. So then what's your vision for when things turn? What are you going to do? Right? So like if you're 50 like me and we're experiencing, an amazing housing market, some may say, I've heard different sides of the coin, so I'll just use this as an example. And houses are selling for millions of dollars, so really you just sell a couple houses and you're good. Well, what happens someday? What happens in 5 years when things turn, if they turn? So you have to have a vision go forward. And that's why, too, a coach can be really helpful. So there's lots of layers to understanding fundamental success tips so you can really live your best life. It's not just the surface topic that you may initially think of. When you start to dig deep, you start to go, oh, yeah, my time management could be better. Or my sales referral and closing process could be better. So I'm set up for the future because right now I'm just having a little bit of luck. And there's many other scenarios and aspects that I'm sure you can think of if you start to do the work and build awareness around it. So that's all I want to talk about this podcast. Your tip is to spend time thinking about it. Spend time thinking about it and see if you need help with any of those aspects. And if you do need help, please contact me. I'll put my email in the show notes. And if you have a team of 3 or more people, let's set up a workshop and start to crack this nut so you are set up for the future. These workshops are amazing. I'm super excited to be part of Southwestern Coaching and Consulting, and they're free. They're free. So why not? Why not reach out to me and see what we can do to work together? So until then, you can also follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. And I hope you crush it in sales. Thanks for listening.